Hi, I'm Matthew Cavalier and welcome back to my channel, Moments with Matthew. Today we're going to talk a little bit about self-image. And though I am probably not the most confident of my own self-image, it is something that I have dealt with rather intensely over the last 10 or 12 years. So I'm going to come at this from obviously my knowledge base and my experiences, as I try to do with each of my Moments with Matthew, and my experiences and life advice, I guess. But I did want to talk about that today as part of this Moments with Matthew. And self-image is so important. And I want to start with the question, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and loved everything that you saw? I'd really have to think about that. I would have to think very strongly, and I would have to think pretty far back to a time when I looked in the mirror and wasn't nitpicking about something on my face, the way my body looks, or how I feel when I look in the mirror. And that is a problem with my own self-image. I have those issues. About 5 years ago, I was about 50 or 60 pounds overweight. I took some of that time, and over the last 5 years, I have dropped about 50 of those pounds and then put back on about 20. So I continue to struggle with that self-image piece. And I recognized in 2015, as I started looking at photos of myself and thinking, what is going on here, that I was really truly using the excess weight that I have as an armor, as a shield against me, because then I could make the excuse that, well, no one wants to date you because you're too fat, or no one wants to date you because look at you. Would you want to date you? And those were the images that were going through my mind, and those were the thoughts that were going through my head. So for my own self-image pieces, I chose to start working out and eating differently. I probably didn't change all of the bad things that I ate, but I ate a lot less of it. And then I started to feel like I liked myself more, and I started to feel like, oh, I can be likable and I can be attractive. So I took that suit of armor, which was for me being overweight, and put it away for a little while. And as I've put more weight back on, I've thought to myself about those self-image issues, but also the confidence that I have gained over the last 4 or 5 years as I've gone through this journey to not only lose weight, but really change how I look at my self-image. So luckily, the dad bod thing has come into popularity. And so I will admit, I kind of enjoy rocking the dad bod, and it's gotten me some attention. And I'm not going to say that I am upset about that, but I still will look in the mirror sometimes and say, that's not who I want to see. That's not what I like. And it makes me sad and adds to the depression and the anxiety that I still fight with. But it is changing. And little bits of that change came with a lot of small changes that I made in my life. Like I said earlier, I changed the way I ate. I started exercising. I enjoyed running. And I started to look myself in the eye, in the mirror, and tell myself that I was good enough. And yes, I know that sounds like a Stuart Smalley moment on SNL. For those of you that are too young to know what that is, you can look that up later or ask someone who might remember. But it truly does help to look yourself in the eye and say, I am enough. I am attractive. I am strong. I am confident. It's not easy. I will tell you, the first several months I tried it, I couldn't look myself in the eye. I would look at the mirror and I would say, this is stupid. I can't do this. But it truly does help when you start to do it. Keeping a journal of your thoughts, keeping a journal of your positive affirmations. All of those were little things that I helped. And again, as I've said before, meditation. Meditation and calming my mind, just concentrating on breaths in and breaths out, also were able to help me stay in the moment and not focus on that negativity. Again, I still struggle with it. Absolutely. I still have problems with my self-image, but nowhere near what I had. And when I struggle with those moments of self-image, I have an arsenal of things that I can try. I can go to my journal. I can go to the mirror. I can go to my favorite Louise Hay book, which is You Can Heal Your Life. It is basically the first instance of positive affirmations that really made it into the mainstream. She created her own publishing company and created an empire based on these positive affirmations. And yes, the first 100, 200, 300 times that you do it, you're going to think you're foolish and silly. But then when they become a habit, when they become ingrained, you will start seeing yourself differently. And that is so important right now. Self-image can truly harm us. Self-image can put us into situations that we are not able or desiring to deal with. I sat for a year and a half in an abusive relationship that was emotionally abusive because I didn't think I was good enough to step away from that relationship. I was demeaned, I was belittled, I was used, and I let it happen to myself because my self-image was not where it needed to be to extricate myself from that relationship and say, I deserve better than this. And it didn't change once the relationship ended. I had to make the change. I had to make the choice. But I knew I couldn't continue to be walked on and used the way I had been in that relationship. And I had to change that for me, from within. So for me, grasping on to something like a positive affirmation was an absolute must for me. Yes, again, I felt silly and I felt crazy for doing it and I felt this is not going to work. But it truly did. And books like this, therapy sessions with an amazing therapist, and supportive family and friends helped me get through it and see that yes, I am worth it and I did not deserve that kind of relationship. I deserve to be loved. And until I can say, I love you to myself, I can't say it to other people. We talked last week in Moments with Matthew about love and how love is really pure and beautiful, and it is. But when our humanity gets in the way of that love, that's where we struggle. And my own humanity got in the way when I allowed myself for a year and a half to be in an abusive relationship. When I allowed myself to put on the armor of 60 pounds extra and say, this is why someone doesn't love me. This is why no one can care for me. I had to take that armor off. I had to look myself in the mirror because at night when I was alone, I was the only one who knew the real reason. We have to truly embrace how we are going to improve our own self-image. And it is a process. It is not something that someone waves a magic wand and says, poof, you're cured. That's not how it works. It is a lot of hard work. I know because I did it. Am I the most confident person in the world? Absolutely not. But have I come a long way in the last 10 years? You better believe it. And that's what I want for you. I want you to focus on your self-image. I want you to start loving yourself. I want you to be able to look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and say, I love you. You are worth it. You are amazing, and you deserve the best. I know this was a tough one, and it might be a little tough for you to watch, but thank you for coming on this little journey with me. It was important to me, and I really, truly do want you to have the best view of yourself. Let me know down below what your thoughts are, what you think about yourself, and how you help to improve your own self-image. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and check the socials down below so we can continue this conversation. I will see you in a week on our next Moment with Matthew.